to lie in your arms here for a while. I'm alive and I take you in. I've been falling, calling. When I reach out, you will hold on. Was it a rainbow falling? Was it a rainbow falling? When I touch you, it will break through. Was it a rainbow falling? Was it a rainbow falling? Oh, was it a rainbow falling? Oh, was it a rainbow? Here am I, meant to find a little peace of mind. You dream away for a day. All I need is true, and I'm falling, calling. When I reach out, you will hold on. Was it a rainbow falling? Was it a rainbow falling? When I touch you, it will break through. Was it a rainbow falling? Was it a rainbow falling? I've been falling and I've been calling. Oh, was it a rainbow falling?
Good evening, everyone. This is Kendra, and welcome to the Surprise Your Spirit show on this wonderful Thursday evening. I'm glad to be back, and I hope that all of my American friends had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend or week or lengthy celebration. For all of you who celebrate, as we did take last week off due to the holiday. So it's been a crazy hectic time for me. I'm going through some living arrangement changes and some job changes, and I'm super excited to be back here with you guys because this is my favorite space to be. And I know I had told you guys on the previous show that we would be talking about some dream interpretation. And I do have a wonderful guest with us tonight to talk about dream interpretation with us by the name of Pamela Cummins. I'm just going to give a shout out of the phone number to anyone who would like to call in at some point in time and speak with Pamela when we start to take some calls during the show. Just give me 1 second here because where I had it written down has now disappeared in my mess. So just welcome back to everyone who's with me all the time, and I would like to say thank you for following me and recommending me to people. You can find me on Facebook at Surprise Your Spirit. You can find me at surpriseyourspirit.com. You can also find me on YouTube as well. I'm also on Instagram at Surprise Your Spirit. Check me out there. Check me out here every Thursday evening. I have some wonderful guests lined up for the new year. And so tonight, if you'd like to call in, the number to call in at is 1-724-846-4029. Or, as always, you can join us in the Zoom room. Now, back to my guest this evening. I've had lots and lots of people reach out to me wondering about dream interpretation. Although it is something that I take a great interest in, it's not my strongest point to speak about. So I decided to find a guest who can speak about this. And so, like I said, we have Pamela Cummins here. Um, she can teach you how to turn your dreams, nighttime messages into daytime wisdom, and she can help to educate you on how to empower yourself in your own relationships with people. Pamela also specializes in spiritual growth as well as love and relationships and dream interpretation. She does have 2 monthly columns in Bell Spirit magazine, and her columns are called In the Dream Time and the Love Channel. She is also the author of the following books: Psychic Wisdom on Love and Relationships, Insights for Singles, Steps to Finding Everlasting Love. And she also has a free ebook called Pamela's Love Collection and Learn the Secret Language of Dreams. If you're looking to connect with Pamela, you can find her at www.learndreaminterpretation.com, as well as PamelaCummins.com also. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Pamela to the show. Welcome, Pamela.
Thank you, Kendra. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly. Great, great. I'm always concerned about that. So I'm very excited to be on your show tonight and to talk about dream interpretation and anything else that you want to talk about.
Perfect. Well, how about you? I know I want to talk about dream interpretation, and we'll see where that takes us, just because of all the requests I have had from listeners, or even clients who have reached out to me regarding dream interpretation that, I can minimally help them. So I'm hoping that this is giving them another place to go, and some resources to do that also. But why don't you go ahead and just talk a little bit about yourself. I just touched base about you, Pamela. Share with the guests and the listeners a little bit about you, anything that I may not have touched on, and then we'll get into some questions that I have, and some questions that callers may have had or submitted previous.
Okay, great. I've been working on my personal growth and spiritual growth since November of 1989. So it's been a long, long time. And what I discovered is that the more I work on myself, the better my life becomes. And one of the ways that happened, I went through 12-step and therapy, but my dreams gave me a lot of insight. I actually had some dreams, like some childhood memory dreams, but I also had a lot of psychic dreams too. And those psychic dreams gave me a lot of insight and helped me to bring my psychic abilities back, because I had shut them down as a child. It just wasn't safe in the environment that I grew up with, with friends, families, teachers, everybody else. So when I started having these dreams, and a lot of them were precognitive dreams, which are dreams about the future and dreams about the past, it helped me to get more in touch with myself. And I'm also a Libra, so I love and relationships. Anything that, hand me a paper. When we used to have the newspaper, hand me a paper, the first thing I would look at is Dear Ann Landers or Dear Abby. And so I kind of combine the two into my business, but I discovered that learning the secret language of my dreams helped me and guide me along my own life and give me a lot of insight. And as I was discovering how, these different ways of being, spirituality and personal growth helped me, I knew I just had to share it with the world. And I've been sharing it with the world, since like 1991, 1993. So that's just a little bit about me in a nutshell.
That's so awesome. I know spiritual growth has been something huge for me. Much like you, I never really shut my abilities down, but I really hid them. I was quite afraid of them. I'm not I'm not much of a dreamer. So I can't really speak to that. I don't actually sleep a whole lot, which a lot of my listeners know because I speak about that quite often. But it does intrigue me because every now and then I do have the occasional dream, which I do pay attention to because I know when they're coming through, I'm obviously missing something at that time, and that's how it's brought to the forefront for me. So, Pamela, can you tell us what really got you into dream interpretation? Like, what took you to that space to really want to delve into that and look at those messages and try to decipher them?
Okay, well, unlike you, I've always been a dreamer. I
Right.
mean, I can remember my dreams, some of my dreams from when I was in kindergarten. Okay, no, just a couple, but I used to think they were meaningless. They had no meaning until I started really working on my personal growth and spirituality, and I started having dreams about my past, and I just knew that they were hidden messages that I needed to look at because intuitively it felt like click, yes, like yes, this is telling me something, but I don't understand it. So and I went actually into therapy, and with the dream, and thank goodness my therapist was into doing dream interpretations. And for almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years, I went to her weekly, and she taught me some of the basics of dream interpretation. But quite honestly, I can help people interpret their dreams. I can give them several meanings, but really it's the individual who knows click, like, yes, this is the meaning. So basically, like just in therapy, what the therapist does and what, most healers do is we help the client find the answers within. And that's what helped me. And then it got to the point when I really started having a lot of precognitive dreams and getting into the more psychic sides of things. She couldn't handle that, and it was time for us to go. But after that, I really just loved everything about dream interpretation. I read a lot of books on dream interpretation, continued to write down my dreams every day. And then before you knew it, I was interpreting friends' dreams, uh, family dreams, and when I became self-employed, after a while, clients' dreams.
That's so awesome. And I try, it's just like being psychic. I don't see, and I don't use that word. I just prefer intuitive, right? Like it's just knowing and just listening to your knowing. But a lot of clients want to know, how do you know? And it's really not they don't understand it's really not about us knowing whether we're using our intuitive abilities to help people decipher their dreams, because really all we're doing is pulling out the answers that are already within them, correct? Like you're more like a guide when you're helping them with their dream interpretation.
Right. And obviously I've been doing it for a long
Yes.
time, since like 1990, 1991. So there's certain symbols that I understand. And quite honestly, sometimes I'll get, my angels and guides will give me messages that help them.
Right, exactly. Very, very cool. Now, do you want to talk a little bit about dream dictionaries? Um, I don't know. To me, I picked up a few. They don't resonate with me. So, is there a way to use them? Is there not a way to use them? How do you know if it's a good one?
Oh, okay. And thank you for that. Because, when I looked at dream interpretation dictionaries, I was just like, oh no, this doesn't feel right. And not to say that they're not wrong. I think that they've gotten a little better over the years, dream apps. I like to think of them kind of like, you know how we have to learn our ABCs, you know, A, B, C, D, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think about dream dictionaries. They're like learning our ABCs of symbolism. All right. But quite honestly, you can learn symbolism other ways. There's a lot of good symbol books out there. I think it's Denise Lynn has the book, and this is an older book, The Secret Language of Signs or something like that.
Yeah, I love Denise Lynn. Yes, I know which book you're talking about.
That's a really good book. In fact, I actually, just a little side note, I sent her an email asking if I could use something out of her book one time, and she responded to me, and I was so thrilled. But it's the little things in life. But really, they're good. But there are other things that you need to consider. For instance, like when you think of a dog symbol usually means unconditional love, loyalty. Those are the first two things, all right? But then you can say, oh, I was sick as a dog, or, you know, he acts like a dog. You know, some men act dog-like, or she's ugly as a dog, okay? So that's just talking about dogs in our conscious mind. Now think about in our dream life. You can think, oh, well, it means loyalty. But what happens if the dog's going to attack you? That makes it all different. Now, some people might feel very scared. Some people might laugh it off because it's their dog who always acts like there's going to attack them. So your emotions come into the symbol. And then also things that have happened in your past. Okay, so if you've gotten bit by a dog, or you've always grew up with dogs, or you're a dog trainer, that's going to change the symbol right there, okay? Also things that are going on in your life. You know, maybe somebody, you're wondering if somebody's loyal to you, and they come into the dream as, you know, a dog, but they speak in their normal voice, all right? So just those little scenes that I've talked about there can show how much who you are, you know, your past, present, and probably even your future and your precognitive, your feelings and the way that you feel just about a dog. You can have literally thousands of different meanings. Now add another symbol like a cat, all right, or a person, or maybe you're in olden day times or in future times, and you can have so many different meanings. And a dream dictionary can't give you all that. It's like trying to write poetry, you know, with just the ABCs. There's so much more to it.
Right. And would you not agree that you also have to allow yourself to know yourself too? Because what a dog means to me may not be the same as someone else, right? So if I don't know myself, then I really can't use it to decipher a message.
Exactly. But you know what? That's the wonderful thing about dreams, your dreams. They're actually you communicating with you.
Exactly.
So they're teaching about who you are. But you know something about dream interpretation and self-growth and therapy and like giving up your addiction and working on your spirituality, becoming you is really scary, okay? Learning who you are is so frightening because you have to look at the dark side of you, you know, the stuff, the yucky feelings and the yucky stuff you don't like. But if you never look at that stuff, then you're always going to remain stuck. So it's, you know, I had a teacher who once said, when you bring the demons to the light, they go away. And that's basically what we're trying to do. And dream interpretation is one tool that will help you look at your demons and bring it to the light, make it go away.
Absolutely. And you know, it's for me, it's quite a shame, you know, and it makes me sad inside sometimes to look at society and how it really pushes us to avoid looking at those demons, because honestly, they're not even that scary. But the world makes us think, you know, the world makes us believe and feel so much shame, instead of, you know, teaching us to embrace those parts of ourselves, because when we embrace that part of ourselves, it makes our life so much better. And I think, and the reason I love that we're discussing dreams is because I think it's a way for people to really work on themselves without really having to expose too much of themselves. Like, it's a great way to ease into your self growth.
Well, and that really depends upon the dream.
I get
Okay.
it. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you're having like some like post-traumatic stress disorder, um, dreams, PTSD,
Yeah.
when that can come like, if you were abused in some manner, victim of a crime, war, disaster, that can bring up some heavy stuff. So it really depends upon the dream. I think really, though, what you were saying earlier about society, and I know that I was at one point, when I began my journey, I think we're afraid to feel anything negative.
Yes, I
Don't
agree
be
with that.
angry, don't be sad, um, don't be jealous, don't be all these things. But what people, those are the demons that I was talking about earlier that we need to bring to the light. And if we don't get rid of them, as Louise Hay said, they cause dis-ease in us. And quite honestly, I learned a long time ago, I won't go into the story, it's a lot harder and a lot more work holding on to your feelings. Okay. It can take you years, but if you let them go, it doesn't last as long. It's not going to kill you. Okay.
Go ahead.
Unless of course it's grief, like someone passed away, then, that has its own natural progression. And your dream life, in your dreams, you can't stuff those feelings because they'll even come out not only like your health, but also in your dreams.
Right. I agree. You know, I agree too. Like, we are taught to not, women are too emotional. Men are babies if they share. Like, those are some really terrible labels that we're grown up with believing that really create that discomfort around feeling the way we feel and being okay with it. And people don't understand also, it stops you because those feelings are taking up space inside of your body and your life that could be filled with joy instead if they would just let them go.
Right, right. And you know what? Your feelings, in a sense, are, you know, are part of your intuition. Am I making sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you're turning off your feelings, you're also turning off your intuition. And if you turn off your intuition, you're in a load of trouble because even the fear that's warning you like somebody's not safe. If you're not paying attention to it, well, that's how people become victims of crime.
I agree. I agree. Okay, so what advice do you have for someone, Pamela, if they would like to start to learn, that secret quote unquote language of dreams? Because I really don't think it's a secret language. I think it's yours, but it's a secret till we allow it to not be a secret.
Yeah, well, I think that, see, the reason why I like to call it the secret language of dreams is because a lot of people think you can learn it as easy as like learning a foreign language, which is not that easy to learn, quite honestly. But it's learning who you are. So it's learning the secrets within you. Okay. Right. First of all, you have to learn to remember your dreams, and we can go into that in another question. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But really is remember them and record them. Okay. It's if you have some type of journal, whatever, write it down, speak into some kind of recording device, use your smartphone, whatever makes you happy, but if you're using any electronics, please back it up so you don't lose that valuable information. That's going to help you because if you have the records, you can go back and start to see the patterns and start to learn your own symbolism. You also need to be aware of what's going on in your life, okay? Because a lot of times what we're dreaming about is things that are happening in our life, and just continue to do it. And of course, get my book. You can get a therapist or myself to teach you how, read as much as you can. But really, I think it's just journaling your dreams and continuing to do it is so important.
You know, and people think it's, you know, the tasks are hard. The tasks aren't hard. They just need to be consistently done.
Well, you know, when you start to, it's like anything else. When like I don't know, I'm using yoga, okay? All right, like when I started doing, like I used to do gymnastics, but I got out of shape. You know, this was a few years ago, and when I started doing yoga, I couldn't touch my toes, okay? And it took me a long, like 3 or 4 months to be able to touch my toes, but I was consistent about it. Now touching my toes doesn't seem like such a big deal. It's like when you first learn to drive, you have to really think, put the key in the ignition and everything else. The more you start to write down your dreams, learn the symbolism, your unique symbolism, get the habit of writing them down, you know, searching for answers. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. But I have to say with dreams, you know, and well, even with yoga, there's some poses that totally baffle me or I can't do. And there's some dreams even I have that I'm like, whoa, what did that mean? You know, you're not going to be able to decipher every single dream that you have, you know, and quite honestly, we don't have enough time during our waking life to decipher every single dream.
Really? Is that true?
Yeah. Well, if I never cleaned my house again, or you know,
didn't go to work, and all you did was dream and interpret them.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh goodness, that's so funny. Okay, so just before we go for a break here, Pamela, you know, I guess I don't know if this will be a quick question, but I know you talked about precognitive dreams, I think you called them.
Right, dreaming of the future.
Right, exactly. Can you just talk about that a little bit for me?
Okay, this could be an entire show.
Well, give us. We'll let you speak. We'll let you start. Then we'll break. And if we need to come back because I have
okay,
we'll go there.
Okay. Well, precognitive dreams are like premonitions of the future or kind of deja vu. There are times when it comes exactly as you dream it. Okay. That doesn't happen too often. Sometimes they are symbolic and you need a little time in the future, you know, to figure it out. Precognitive dreams, they have a special feeling to them, and it's hard to describe it. I'm going to say it's kind of like a knowing. Like it's like a knowing that you're in a safe neighborhood, or if you're in a bad neighborhood, or if somebody's nice, or if they're trouble. Okay.
So it's just that feeling, like you just know.
You just know. But sometimes they're not clear cut and they don't make sense until before the event or after the event. But sometimes they do give us warnings. Okay. I don't know when you want to take a break, so
we'll break now and then we can come back, and so we will continue, everyone, with our interview and our learning about dream interpretation.
Close your eyes, get out of your skin. Only this matters, let it in. right here with you. In this world of ticking clocks, I hope I'm getting through. So close your eyes. Do you feel the same? Only thing that matters without change. I will let you into my mind's deep. The color that fallen tears that have been long asleep. The lights are out and heaven's open. We can be everything we want. Oh, stop the clocks, the bees are humming in between the contrasts of our souls. Stop the clocks, the bees are humming in between the contrasts of our soul. Get out of your skin. Only this matters. Let it in.
Surprise Your Spirit show with me, your host, Kendra from Surprise Your Spirit. For anyone who's just hopping in and checking out what we're doing, and for anyone who's joining us, I have Pamela Cummins here, and we are speaking about dream interpretation tonight. Pamela does write a couple of columns for Bell's Grant magazine. She is an author. You can check out some of her books. You can find her at PamelaCummins.com. What's the other website, Pamela? I'm drawing a blank.
That's okay. That's all right. It's LearnDreamInterpretation.com.
LearnDreamInterpretation.com. Perfect. So that's where you can find her if you have any more questions or would like to get in touch with her. Before we took a break here, we were talking about dreaming about the future. And so we were just talking about precognitive dreams, which, you know, can come in different forms. And Pamela had said they could show up kind of like deja vu, or you just have a knowing that it's real or it's going to happen. Do you want to speak a little bit more about that, Pamela, and just continue on from where we left off there?
Sure. Let me try and get refocused on where I was. Well, sometimes it's a little baffling because you don't know if it was exactly a precognitive dream until some time goes on. Do you
Yes,
understand what
I
I mean?
yep, yep,
so so I'm going to use a personal example of mine, if that's okay.
for sure.
I remember years ago, and I'll make it fast, but I had a dream where it was like a combination of all the offices that I had when I rented them in New Jersey. All right,
Hmm.
a bunch of different ones. And I was going there, and a lot of furniture had to be thrown away because it just wasn't usable anymore. And I walked back, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to, rent and do. And my sister's there with a hammer and nails, nailing these boards in. Okay. Now that sounds pretty wild. All right. And I was trying to, but it had that precognitive feel to it because I woke up, I couldn't forget that dream, and I didn't understand it at all. And I knew that it meant something, but time had to go on. So a little while later, I went and I looked at maybe some office space which was on the second floor, like the dream, to rent for possible workshops. And I was like, oh, well, maybe that's what the dream meant. All right. And no, that was not what the dream meant, because about 3 or 4 months later, I had the car I had at the time had a lot of mechanical problems. Money was really tight, and it became very apparent that I couldn't afford to live in New Jersey anymore. I needed to move. All right. And I ended up moving, it was so weird because I was getting all these visions of getting rid of my furniture and moving to North Carolina with my sister, which at the time was so horrible. And I was so upset, and that's what I did. I gave up my furniture. I moved to North Carolina, which, by the way, is the furniture capital of the U.S. So I knew I could get more furniture, and I moved in with my sister. And it was a rough period in my time, but I realized later that that dream was basically telling me that I was taking all the knowledge that I learned from all my offices, okay, and everything I did that, and I was taking that with me because it didn't matter where I was renting or where I was at. And my sister nailing the boards into the floor was helping me build a new foundation. So
Exactly. As soon as you talked about your sister with the hammer, and I was like, oh, she's gonna help her reconstruct.
exactly. But see, at the time, and that's the other thing with our dreams, because just like our waking life, we can be in denial. When it comes to precognitive dreams, sometimes we go into denial, okay,
Right.
because we just don't want to admit it. Like I was like, oh well, how can my sister? She lives miles and miles away from me. How can she possibly help me? And then other times you have, that deja vu where you dream about being in a house, and a week later, all of a sudden, you're in the house.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. Been there,
And
done that. Happens to me all the time. It's not with dreams for me. It's with visions, but
okay.
I can imagine it's the same.
Right. And that's what's really important about writing down your dreams. It's just like when you're getting in touch with your intuition. I always tell people, if you get intuitive thought, write it down, because then later on, when it comes to be, you can say, hey, here it is, dated and the time, yes, I have evidence. And that's the nice thing about writing down your dreams, is to have that. Um, Now, when it comes, like, I'll have people who will say with their precognitive dreams, when they dream of earth disasters or somebody getting hurt, what can they do about it? And sometimes you can do something about it. Sometimes it's only prayer. All you can do is prayer, because if you go to the police and say, hey, I had this dream, da, 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 they're going to look at you like you're wacky. And sometimes you're just being informed, like, let's say you have a dream, because some people will have dreams of a loved one passing away, okay? And sometimes, sadly, we have those dreams, but it's letting us know that this is coming and how to deal with it.
Well, and it's you're trying to be told to say your goodbyes and do your things ahead of time. It's supposed to help you cope instead
Right.
of having that you know bam of grief. It's supposed to help you to prepare and cope and do the things you need to do in order to have the type of goodbye you'd like if it is someone passing on, right? People don't understand though that information is meant to help them, not harm them.
I know, but who wants their loved one to pass on? But I agree, it's a, and especially if you have any things, any conflicts that you need to resolve, something, closure, basically. That's what it's there for, is to give you closure.
I agree. And when you say about loved ones passing on, I don't view death like that, so it's hard for me to wrap my head around it, but I know it's a struggle for the majority of society. So I try to always work with my clients and tell them, when you receive these types of messages, they're supposed to help you. So how can you use that information to help you make the best of what you have?
I agree. I agree.
Okay, so is I know you talked about journaling the dreams, Pamela, and I'm just going to let anyone know if anyone out there has questions for Pamela, please call in. Please pop your question into the chat. We will address it. She's here for anyone who wants to use her wisdom. Let's make the use of it. But you talked about journaling dreams to learn how to start interpreting them. But is there a way people can start to remember them?
That's a good question, because you know what? You can't journal your dreams if you don't remember them.
Exactly.
And I once had some host ask me, do you get a lot of people who tell you like dream interpretation, it doesn't mean anything and it's a bunch of bull? And I was like, actually, no, because I think the majority of people know their dreams mean something. They just don't know what. Okay. Yeah. And I don't care what religion or nationality, we all know they mean something. The thing I hear all the time is, I can't remember my dreams. Right. One of the things, the most important thing is within anything is intention. All right. So you need to intend to remember your dreams. All right. That's so important. All right. And one of the things with intention, it's just like if you're going to do, we'll use a yoga example. You're going to do yoga, okay? So if you're intending to do yoga, you'll get a yoga mat, you'll get some yoga clothes, maybe go to, so you're prepared so you can do a video or go to a class. It's the same thing with dream interpretation. You need to put either a pen and paper on your nightstand, some kind of recording device, have your smartphone maybe, or your tablet, have some kind of journal app. So you have it there. So that right there is kind of like a trigger when you go to sleep, that you're going to remember your dreams. You can ask, ask or pray, whatever term you like, God, goddess, whoever you believe in, to please help you remember your dreams. You can write yourself a letter and put it underneath your pillow. You can, just before you go to sleep, say, I will remember my dreams. One of the things I like to do is tell people to do meditation, where you say over and over again, I will remember my dreams, I will remember my dreams. And you see yourself waking up in the morning recording your dreams. Now, that sounds so simple, correct? But so many people will not do that, especially if they don't have a dream the next day. It takes some time. What I like to say to people is, you're not going to lose weight overnight. And if you do, okay, you're probably going to gain it back, but you're not going to or you're not going to you're not going to touch your toes, if you've never done yoga before and you haven't been active. All right. It takes time. So, give yourself at least 3 months, 90 days.
Yeah, and especially when you're using it as a self-development thing, because like I often tell people, when you go to the massage therapist to work out an area in your muscles, you have to go more than once. So, if you're willing to do that for your body, why aren't you willing to invest the time and energy and effort into yourself, your spiritual part also? So I would really, I know I don't dream a lot. I don't sleep a lot. But when I do, I often ask, please help me if I'm having a dream, please allow me to remember it. And almost always I'm granted that.
Right.
So it does work if you ask.
Oh, it's that intention. Yep. And, some people don't want to remember their dreams because they get a lot of nightmares.
Right.
Okay. And, nightmares really are a gift because they help bring up, what we're afraid of, any issues we have that we've been denying, or, situations we need to deal with.
I agree.
Yeah. So, yeah. So again, intention. So important.
And I think that's a lot of things in life, period. Just even in how we live our daily lives, right? Intention is huge.
Right. And I just want to add that on my website, Learn Dream Interpretation, or my other one, PamelaCummins.com, I actually have a free gift to help you, how to remember your dreams, that has a guide book and a meditation. So if you want a meditation before you go to sleep, just download that. Or you need to sign up on my mailing list, and a lot of people sign up and then they unsubscribe. But if you want that, please go and get that. That will help you.
Well, that's so amazing. Thank you for sharing that with everyone. I hope people out there will use that. I just have one more question, Pamela, regarding deceased loved ones. Lots of people ask me all the time, well, my deceased loved ones are visiting us in our dreams. And I often tell them, this is my understanding, especially as a really sensitive medium, is they're around you all the time, but you're not acknowledging their presence. So that's the best way for them to visit you, because all the distractions are removed from your daily life.
Exactly. The other thing too is, in order to stay on this earth and to be in a physical body, okay, we vibrate at a very low vibration compared to those who are on the other side, who don't have this body weighing them down, or in heaven, or whatever you like to call it. They're vibrating very quickly. So sometimes, especially if they just passed, okay, it's hard for them to come down to our level. And it's really hard for, some people to go up to their level. But when you're dreaming, it's kind of like a radio station. Like, it's hard for me to get a radio station in North Carolina if I'm tuned to a Japanese radio station. However, if I go online, boom, I can get the Japanese station. And that's what happens when we sleep. Okay, we're on a higher vibration, and it's easier for us to connect with our loved ones.
So it's really just about finding the connection, right? And that's what I tell people. So I just wanted to know if you had a different take on that, or if there was, any more extra. Do you ever encourage people to visit loved ones, to visit them in their dreams if they're missing them?
Just like you can ask to remember your dreams, you can ask a loved one to come and visit you in your dreams. So definitely. Now, and I want to also point out, because this is a question I get asked a lot, is how do you know it was really them who visit you in your dream? Okay. they and not a dream. Okay. And one of the ways you can tell, okay, and sometimes it does get mixed up, but a good way to tell is it feels like you've actually had a visit. Like they've come over, maybe they didn't even say anything. They just sat and, held your hand, or you talked about a little thing. You felt a lot of love. It was an actual interaction. Okay. And sometimes it's very quick. That's definitely a visitation. All right. However, if you're yelling at them and there's all kinds of symbolism and, you know, that it's, you have unresolved issues with them, that is probably you dreaming to resolve the issue of your loved one who has gone to the other side.
That's really great advice. I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's going to help a lot of people and a lot of questions that I get also regarding, you know, seeing their loved ones in the dream. And I mean, it's what I've told people too, but I think it helps to hear it from others also. You know, if for me, if it doesn't feel peaceful, there's more to it than that.
Yes.
And you need to take a look at that. So I know that you have some intuitive abilities and that you really help work on love and relationships. So maybe we can have you back sometime to talk about those sorts of things.
Okay.
Can you just share with our guests some of the books that you have regarding dream interpretation, what they're called, where they can find them, what they're about?
Right. Well, I shouldn't say I only, because having a book is great. Right now, I'm actually having another one coming up next year, but 3 of my books are on love and relationships. Okay. And with all 3 of those are, of course, have a lot to do with your personal growth. I have one book, Learn the Secret Language of Dreams, which is basically about different dream categories. You know, like as we talk, precognate, deceased loved one, solution dreams. And I use a lot of dreams from Bellispree magazine, my clients' dreams and mine. I interpret a lot of dreams to help people learn, you know, see, hey, here's the dream. This is how you interpret it. And they can find that book in either ebook or paperback at all the major online bookstores, for instance, Amazon, iBooks, Barnes & Nobles, Kobo, Smashwords. And it's also in paper book at Barnes & Nobles and Amazon. And you can actually go to your bookstore and order it. If you have a favorite bookstore and you want to support your local bookstore, you can get it there. And it's Learn the Secret Language of Dreams.
Fabulous. I will definitely. I'm going to post that on my Facebook page and my website, Pamela, if that's all right with you.
Right. And they can also go to my website too, that they can find it there, or, you know,
okay, cool.
Goodreads. If you go into Goodreads, you can find it there too.
Perfect. So how can people get in touch with you if they'd like to connect with you?
Okay. Well, my website, Pamela Cummins, CUMMINS.com, LearnDreamInterpretation.com. Actually, you can just Google me and you'll find me. I am on Facebook, Pamela Cummins Author. I love to pin. I'm on Pinterest, and that's Pamela Cummins. You can find me there. And Twitter, I'm Rev Pamela on Twitter. So I am all over the place. You can find me. Just Google me.
You don't have to look too hard to find you, eh?
No. It's cool. It was funny when me and my honey, when we first dated, we met, and we sat there, and he's like, I didn't realize I was going out with a celebrity, and I blushed because, you know, he's very into computers and techs, and I just looked at him and I said, that's good marketing. He Googled my name and found me all over the place.
I guess you have no secrets, right? He can find you anywhere.
Exactly.
Well, Pamela, thank you so much for joining me. You know, before we sign off, well, what's next for you? What do you have coming out in the up and coming time? What can we see from you?
Oh boy, hopefully more classes. You know, I do have some online classes for dream interpretation, but I'd like to do some live classes. I have a personal growth affirmation book coming out in 2018, and I have some other things in the fire. You know, and I also I just got a new writing gig for stories at 7 Cents Psychics. So That's a paid writing gig, which I'm very happy about, and probably some more freelance writing because I really do love to write.
Yeah, probably. You seem to be a writer. Like you just want to convey your message, right?
Exactly. And sometimes words just don't get the point across like, speaking the words, where writing the words just get it across. And, my father's a English literature professor, so-called retired. He's an author, he's an editor. So it's really just in the genes.
Right. It's just a natural born love, I guess, probably, right?
Correct.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna have to actually I've never actually listened to a show, but I think I'm going to put this one on replay and have a good listen to it so I can actually soak in some of the things that we talked about for my own knowledge. But thank you so much for being here with us tonight and sharing about dream interpretation, and I hope to connect with you in the future.
Well, I thank you so much for having me. It was an honor to be on your show, and we will definitely connect in the future. So thank you so
That's
much.
been so good. Well, thanks so much, Pamela. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on the Surprise Your Spirit show here with Kendra. I am going to be taking off next week as I am in the middle of moving, and it's just going to be too hectic. Who knows what kind of box my computer will or will not be in. Um, the following week, I may or may not be back. We'll just see how things go. Stay posted on my Facebook page, but I would like to let everyone know who's been asking about astrology. I'm having Deborah Silverman, the astrologer, join me on December 28th show, and I have a list of guests coming up in the new year from all over the world. I'm going to be having a guest named Nikki from the United Kingdom. She's going to come on the show, talk about twin flame connections. I have, um, I believe Barbara Reynolds is going to try again since we had major technical difficulties with her the evening we tried to connect. Um, Tiffany, Tiffany White, I believe, Diane Garris. There's a whole bunch of people who are going to be joining me, and I'm super excited for all of those. So stay posted and keep your eye on my Facebook page, and I'm looking forward to connecting with all of you. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you in 2 weeks from now. Take care and have a good night.